Amazon.com. Is that what you're singing about, Jason?
Boy, oh boy, do I love Van Halen, and I love one thing more than that. It's Amazon.com.
Folks, listen. In the show notes, there's a link, an Amazon link. And that's a special link. It goes straight to Amazon, but it goes through this little porthole. And whatever you purchase on Amazon, we get a little kickback from it. You don't pay a dime more. Gosh dang it, we wouldn't make you do that. But you're doing your Christmas shopping right now anyway. Don't go to the store. Don't fight the crowds. There's only 2 TVs that are $300
Do you really want to get beat to death over a 32-inch plasma television?
No.
You want to get beat to death at home by your wife like an American. But while you're doing that, get on your laptop and boop, 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 Amazon.com through the FCF Network website, and you're going to help us out. What you're going to do is you're going to click through that banner. You're going to pay the regular price you normally pay, but we're going to get just a little taste. We're going to keep the lights on here at the FCF Network, right?
So do it. Your kids want all the coolest things. Where do you find those?
Amazon.com.
Your wife wants that weird kitchen thing that you don't really know what it's for. Where are you going to find that?
Amazon.com.
That brother that you hate, that every year you want. He has everything already.
Fuck him. Amazon.com.
Fuck him at Amazon.com. That's what we're doing.
That's exactly right. Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network. It's Couch Pilots. Welcome all of my friends to the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television. Pilots of the past. My name is Jason, but won't you call me the Black Macaroni Salad? And across from me, as always, is my backyard barbecue buddy. His name is Captain Philip. Rest assured. Good evening, Captain. I love you.
Love you too, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great.
I got my guns drawn.
Finger guns forever. That's what I always say.
Oh, finger them guns.
Finger them guns. You know what else I say is we're riding in style.
We have Air Force One, which is the best plane in the world.
Yeah, they say, how do we take the leader of the free world from A to B? Right?
Right.
Air Force One.
Right. And every time there's a new president, they get a new Air Force One.
Who was our last president? Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He had Air Force One. And when he was done, they say, we got to get a new one from President Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. But what happens to that old one? We buy it.
Yep. We on the black internet, the deep, dark black internet.
Yeah, that's how Obama has access to it, because he's a black guy.
Hey-o. And we got it. And we've done some upgrades to it. Of course, we put some new wiring in.
Some new LED lights.
And we've put some new carpet in it.
You've done some stuff, like, personally, that DSJ has failed to do. You've stepped up to the plate and did some maintenance.
Yeah, I put the carpet in myself. We had the flood. Remember the flood?
The great flood of 2017?
Oh,
Boy,
gosh.
do I remember.
It was rough.
But today comes a little upgrade of our own, right?
Yeah, there's a secret room in Air Force One that only me and you have the code for. It's kind of our safe haven.
It's a retina scan, right?
Right, a retina scan. A retina stand. That's when you put your penis in front of it. It takes an erectus stand.
I thought that was a Middle Eastern country for a second. So you're saying we got to put our cock in a plane.
But it's I wouldn't say it's a lounge. I'd say it's more of a...
Like a panic room?
Yeah. It's a panic room for some people.
It's a safe haven.
All the girls that deal with Louis C.K.
The girls that we Weinstein out?
That we Weinstein out. No, but it's like it's a bedroom. Okay, it's a bedroom. Yeah, okay. It's a secret bedroom. A lot of times we take a lot of long flights because you get it up.
And then after I get it up, you do every single thing right in the middle.
And then you bring it back down. But sometimes we need to rest on these long flights. So
you and I, we're flesh and bone. We're just men,
Right.
right? We're not some
We're
kind
not
of
immortals.
robot. No. You know what? I wish I was an immortal. Not the case.
We're not superheroes.
Oh, boy. Would that be great?
I am no Aquaman.
And I'm no Submariner. His equivalent.
Is that an X-Man?
I don't know.
Fucking. But we got a new bed. DSJ just installed the new king-size bed with the pillow top mattress, firm, raring to go.
He sure did. Boy, this is fantastic because you and I really are. We have nothing to complain about.
Oh.
Week after week, you're like, "Ooh, let me check out the numbers for the show." Oh, they're fucking shit. Well, guess what? We're living.
We're livers?
You and I are human livers.
They're dwindling by the day.
We're living in the laps of luxury, is what we are, right?
Sure.
You and I, we get an Air Force One, the most high-tech aircraft on the planet, and then we have a luxurious bed installed so we can sleep during the flights?
Well,
oh, holy crow, that's incredible.
I don't know how much sleeping I'll be doing. Nice. High five that shit.
Nice. That's some good sleeping, my friend.
Yeah, so I'm excited about it. I'm going to use it tonight. The wife is kind of mad at me right now.
Why is that?
I don't know, we just some butt stuff. It just
Butt stuff?
Yeah.
You tried butt stuff on the new bed?
No, not on the new bed
Okay,
at our
thank you,
house.
because I have to sleep on that.
No. That's one that was when we decided to budget for this new bed.
Budget?
You said one thing. I only have one request. I'm
Yeah.
like, what is it? You're like,
Yeah.
no butt stuff.
I said, no religion, no cops,
No
no
butt-
politics, no butt
butt
stuff.
So I'm gonna sleep there tonight. I'm gonna sleep in Air Force One in the hangar because
Sure.
I'm gonna.
Once we dock for the night.
Yeah, I told DSJ once you plug it in to the outlet,
Yeah.
just go ahead and go home. I'll take care of everything.
Put your golden cones down for the evening and
Charge them up.
Go home and take care of DSJJR.
Exactly. That kid's getting big.
Oh, boy. And for the uninitiated, DSJJR is Down Syndrome John Jr., the son of our tarmac worker, Down Syndrome John. He's out there on the tarmac week after week. We haven't talked about him for a little bit. And he's waving those golden cones, just like you'd see on any runway. He's directing us into the sunset, and then we're ready to come back down. He's right there for us again. So, John, thank you very much. We've had some news with John as of late, haven't we?
Are we? I don't know. Oh well, there is news. I have news.
Yeah.
He said he put in a requisition. The other day for
Right.
time off requisition, and he said he needed March 3rd off.
Oh, really? I did not see this. What was this for?
It says attention. Well, he also put a link on it. Like he wrote the link down, so
Really?
I had to go type it all the whole link in.
The HTTP /
Oh yeah, it was all this
colon.
stuff. Attention, Peoria, Illinois area Led Zeppelin fans. Tickets are on sale now
Holy
to Get
crap.
the Lead Out. Returning to the Peoria Civic Center Theater on Friday, March 3rd. Have you ever imagined experiencing the Mighty Zepp's iconic songs in concert just the way you remember them?
I know that I have.
With all the guitar solos, drum fills, and vocal melodies intact, and performed with all the passion and fury that this legendary catalog deserves? Well, here is your chance. Don't miss. Get the Let Out for a night of devoted to the greatest music in rock history. Spread the word.
Is that real?
Damn right it's real. Damn right, Rebel Proud.
Oh boy. Okay, so little behind the scenes, inside baseball, whatever you want to call it. Couch Pilots, we record 2 episodes at a time on Mondays. So DSJ, Down Syndrome John, is here every other Monday to help us take the plane up, bring it back down. He helps us with the whole process. And you think that's the world in which I know DSJ.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a world completely of his own outside that. He whitewashes trays.
At MacDonald's.
Yeah, and then he also DJs as DJ DSJ on occasion, right?
Yeah. Oh, he does bar mitzvahs and sweet 16s. And what's the Mexican celebration?
Quinceañera.
Yeah. Quinceañeras.
But but one of his major gigs on the side is being a roadie for the cover band for Led Zeppelin, Get the Lead Out.
Yeah.
And they're coming right here to our backyard, Peoria, Illinois.
Right.
And boy, oh boy, is he excited.
He's excited. He's pumped. I think he's going to get his family a block of tickets because he's super proud.
Yeah.
He's like,
And,
I tuned that guitar or whatever he does.
And of course, he had to put in the requisition to get the day off.
Sure, we don't fuck around. We just give him days off whenever.
No. We have a job to do every other Monday, right here on the FCF network.
What upset me is that he didn't say anything in the requisition about giving us a couple tickets or putting us on the guest list.
It'd be nice to be on the will call, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Go up there and say, hey, Captain Philip, rest assured, I'm the Black Captain. Would you please let us in? And they say, absolutely. I have not heard hide nor hair about that scenario happening.
Right. I mean, I'm not even expecting backstage passes.
Would I like to meet the cover band of Get the Let Out? Absolutely. But he's done nothing to make us think that's going to happen.
So we'll see. I mean, maybe when it gets closer, maybe there are Christmas presents, maybe?
Perhaps. Boy, oh boy, but I'd love to go see that.
Perhaps.
I see him on the runway with the golden cones. That's how I know DSJ. I know he's got this wildlife outside of this, and you and I have
he's a park ranger.
He's a park ranger. Is that new? I have not heard of that. Where does he park range?
Huh?
Where does he park range?
Wildlife Prairie Park.
Right here in Peoria, Illinois?
Yeah.
He's out there where the buffalo roam?
There's only 2 buffalo. They look really sick. But he bathes them and feeds them. But
He's a park ranger that bathes and feeds animals?
Yes. Have you never seen Yogi Bear? He does have a wildlife. You are correct. So,
wow. I did not know that. Boy,
we need to we haven't talked too much about it lately. We should probably dive into some DSJ news.
Some lore. Well, I mean,
that'd be good for a Patreon episode.
We gave a lot of backstory there about his child and about all his different jobs and his requisition. Is there anything else you want to add about the current ongoings of DSJ?
Well, I wanted to let you know that I did put his requisition in my mail folder.
Oh, you did? And then what did you do after that?
Laminated it.
And then?
Put it in the cabinet.
Damn straight you did. That's what you do.
Wait, I laminated it, then put it in my mail folder, then I put it in the filing cabinet.
That's what you do with every single requisition that comes through the couch.
You seem like you're like amazed that I knew the word requisition.
I just I'm having such a great time with you this evening. I think it's just your laugh is terrifying. It's like some creepy old 1970s cartoon. It's just
oh gosh.
I don't know that it's real.
Yeah, it's real.
It is real.
Oh.
It's
hot in her.
As real as DSJ out on the tarmac. But big ups to you, my friend DSJ. Thank you so much. And something else I look forward to week after week is not only the ongoings of our tarmac worker, but the ongoings of our fan feedback.
Fan feedback, one of our favorite parts of the show. We have a dial-in number.
It's 910-PILOTS-1. You can also call us at 910-745-6871. Call us any time of the day.
Save it in your contacts. This is a response from Twitter. It's from Kevin. Kimbo Slice.
Kevin Clark?
Kevin Clark.
Oh, baby.
It says Kevin Clapper. Clarp. Anyway, it says, at Couch Pilots Pod, excited for the hashtag pilot pretest and hashtag Encino Mom episodes. Encino Mom. We are definitely going to get that pretest done. We probably should have done it in this episode, but we forgot. Another one from our Instagram.
Oh, Instagram.
Couch_pilots_podcast from season 11, episode 1, B Men. Lori Garcia said, "The Weasel."
The Weasel being that Pauly Shore was in briefly the pilot episode from B-Men.
Well, the B-Men came and our rebels did too, searching for the place where they made their brew. Here we go. This is from season 10, episode 10, 17th Precinct. Lori Garcia on Facebook says, "Great episode as always, Blake, Clayton, and Jason. Had me in stitches as usual. By the way, Jason, your love for me will last forever, just like Kevin Spacey's love for boys and men 30 and under." What I thought was hilarious about this is that she actually tagged Kevin Spacey's Facebook. Classic.
Here's the thing about Lori Garcia and I. Something is happening.
Bells? Wedding bells?
I don't want to say wedding bells necessarily, but
I'm going to be your best man, right?
you will be my best man.
Yes.
If I marry Lori Garcia, you'll be my best. But something's happening there.
Really?
There's some sort of weird chemistry. Week after week, she contacts the show. She talks about me pulling my cock out in a robe and jerking it off. I mean, all these different things.
Sounds like chemistry to me.
It's love, baby.
Love, baby. Are you Randy?
I'm Randy, all right.
I am Randy.
My name is Randy, and I'm horny.
Adam Z on Twitter says, @CouchPilotsPod, hey boys, hashtag stay golden. And let's see, we got a couple more here. Oh, Lori Garcia, again on Facebook, sent us a picture of this toy that is an airplane. It's a girl, it's a doll, it's like a little kid girl. And it says, Target sells this toy line for girls called Lori.
Yeah, she sent me that.
I know. Great fucking name, right? She has the life I've always wanted. Living in Soho with doing ballet, horseback riding, shopping, and hanging out with her friends. Well, this bitch has a motherfucking plane. So I'm wondering, where are the Blake Clayton and JT? Ooh, that's your new nickname, is JT. A.K.A. Harvey Weinstein dolls. By the way, yes, I do have a Lori doll, and she is fly as fuck. Great episode, by the way. Also, hashtag me too.
Thank you, Lori. You are without a doubt the first lady of Air Force One. And you know what? The first lady of my heart.
Oh,
That's right.
I'm warm right now. Tyler, Abercrombie and Fitch.
Hell yeah.
Our good buddy.
We like girls who wear.
We like the girls that go boom. He put hashtag poke 'em, Dano. With 3 laughing, crying faces. And then my response was, I guess that was better than I thought. So thank you very much.
Porkum Dano.
Thank you, Tyler. It's always good to see that somebody else likes my jokes. It's not just a drunk guy sitting across from me who
I'm not drunk at all.
who thinks I'm an idiot and laughs at all my stupid jokes.
What the fuck are you talking about? That was hilarious. Porkum Dano.
So there you go. There's some fan feedback. Get a hold of us. Call our dial-in number. We haven't had a voicemail in over a month, I think.
Has it really been that long?
It's been a while.
Christ.
And but we love all the fan feedback. We love the interaction. You'll get frequent flyer points. You can accumulate those points to get yourself a free flight on the plane with us. You get some surprise prizes, some used underwear, aviator glasses, signed 8x10 glossies. You name it, we got it. Rack up those points. Jason, hit me up, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
Anything you want, you got it. Anything you need, you got it. Anything at all, specifically failed television pilots, you got it.
This show is built on the back of his songs.
Well, that feels good on the other side of that. Today we discuss the pilot episode of Back to Norm from the year of our Lord, 2000 plus 5. I tell you right now, great year.
2005. Let me do the calculations.
Beep, boop, beep. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, beep, beep, boop, boop, beep.
Was I 30? I was 30.
I know you were, because I was 24.
I was 30. I would have to say this is pre-Carrie Ann.
Yeah. Post. A different girl.
Post-Jen. I'm going to say
Swallow hard.
that 2005
Yeah.
was the infamous threesome with a shower.
Okay, now before we talked about you had threesome with a girlfriend and a mounted horse policeman. And but this is a different threesome?
This is the second
this is
threesome.
Great. I'm so glad. 'Cause, this is what I do. I say, I know that we have to go back in time in our minds. So I look up and I see the previous times that we've been back in those years, and I say, what have we talked about before? So I can avoid those things and talk about things we haven't talked about before. We've only talked about 2005 one other time.
Right.
So the fact that this has not come up before is not surprising, but god damn it if I don't want to know exactly what you're talking about.
Me and a couple young ladies. I was dating one girl. Her name was
Full name.
Huh? No more full names. Her name was, what was her name? Start with an M. It's irrelevant. She had a tramp stamp tattoo of a fucking dolphin.
All right, very
super
good.
gay. No, it was around her belly button. Melinda. I want to say Melinda.
Okay.
I think it was Melinda, and I was dating Melinda, and we were at Stacy's house.
Stacy's house has got it going on.
It did. I think it was a trailer. I don't think it was a house. I think it was an actual.
Stacy's trailer's got it going on.
We were sitting around having some spirits and wine, and we were playing dice, and somehow it became like instead of strip poker, it kind of was like became strip dice.
Strip dice.
It's nice. Anyway, so somehow it comes up like, hey, let's all have sex.
Sure, why not?
And I was like, oh, I don't have any condoms. It was like 1 a.m. And they're like, well, you go get condoms, and when you get back, we'll do this. And I was like, man, I'm going to get back. They're going to be passed out, or they'll be in a fight or something. I was like, this is bullshit. So I went and got some condoms.
This is when you just reach in the drawer and you get a thing of saran wrap and a rubber band.
I probably should have, but it wasn't my trailer. So, so I get back. They're in the shower together?
Oh, my God.
Doing
this is great.
stuff. They're like, hey, did you get the condoms? I was like, yeah. And they're like, get in the shower. Get in the shower. It was like a Blake sandwich, right? Had these two girls, this hot, steamy.
Were they good-looking girls?
They're good. Well, yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay, keep going.
One was really good. One was pretty good. Pretty good. So then we get out of the shower. Everything's going. People are touching and doing stuff to each other. We get to the bedroom.
Yeah.
And stuff starts happening. Next thing I know, Melinda gets pissed about something.
What?
I don't know what happened, but she got mad.
That's the girl that you're dating.
Mm-hmm. And the whole atmosphere changed.
Oh, bummer.
And she got up and went in the other room. Obviously, I could not continue to do what I was doing.
This is the problem with the previous threesome. You had sex with both of them, and then one lady says, hey, I'm not done having sex with you, while your girlfriend's asleep, and he's like, no, I won't do it. You're falling into the same moral chasm as before.
I hate having morals. Fuck morals, right?
You're very loose.
Hashtag fuck them morals.
Hashtag Encino Mom.
So then I went in the living room. Was like, hey, you know what's going on? Blah blah blah. And just like, this is weird. Blah blah blah. I didn't want to do this. Blah blah blah. I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. And then we broke up a week later.
So you're the one in the fucking shower when I got home. What are you talking about?
You were licking nipples. And all of a sudden, now you don't want to do this? When I went and drove and got robbed condoms?
I've almost been in 3 threesomes, but it never worked out for me.
4th time's the charm.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. Well, I'll keep at it, my friend.
You do it, buddy. So there's a little 2005.
You know what? It sounded like it ended on a bad note, but I would say that's a good experience all around.
Oh, it was still fun.
If I were you, if my name is Blake Clayton, Captain Philip Russell, I'd say 2005, great year.
Great year for the Roses.
Oh, and what does that mean?
That's if I had a lot of good sex that year.
2005, boy, oh boy. That was the year where a woman of Asian descent came up to me and said, I missed my period.
And your response was?
Uh-oh. And then a baby came out.
Aww.
That's fine. This is the greatest thing that ever happened to me as my daughter. So,
yeah. What's funny about that is what I've realized in my life is it's the greatest gift you can ever get. It's just the person giving it to you is the shitty part of it, right?
Yeah, I can agree with that to a degree. She turned out to be not so bad, but it's because we're not in a romantic relationship anymore. Anyway, 2005 was the year that I found out I got a lady pregnant, and I was a terrified 23-year-old boy.
Oh, were you scared to death?
Oh, my God.
Were you scared about money, where you're going to live?
Well, I just didn't know where you leave a baby for adoption.
I didn't know if I had to throw her down concrete stairs or just carpeted ones would do the trick.
Oh, boy. But
not the baby. I meant the mom.
Not the baby.
Not the mama.
But that's you and I. We think you and I, we close our eyes and we see a calendar flipping back to 2005.
Every now and then I get a little bit crazy and I listen to the sound of my heart.
Close my eyes.
Every time I watch a pilot that is on the show.
Close my eyes.
Let's move on to the next thing, because this bit's getting old.
This show is built on the back of his songs. I say, let's go back into the year 2005 in our minds. Because physically, we can't do it. It's impossible. We don't have the technology to go back in time physically right now.
If we go back in time physically through like a teleportation thing, somebody's getting hurt.
Someone gonna die.
Somebody's going to get assassinated.
Someone gonna die.
Somebody's going to be president that's not supposed to be. Something bad's going to happen.
That's right. So we do it in our minds because
Hillary might have won if we would have went back.
Because Hillary might have won. That's the only reason we do it. But what we want to do is say, we're talking about the show Back to Norm. It came out in the year of our Lord 2005. Let's go back to that time frame so we can properly digest this pilot within the time that it arrived to us.
Right.
So 2005 happens. George W. Bush starts his second term as 43rd president of these United States.
Now, is that the George W. the old one or the George W. the younger one?
It's not. It's not this one. Nah, I got that. Remember that?
Okay.
Remember when he said that?
Not gonna do it.
Not gonna that.
Not prudent at this juncture.
Not gonna throw up on a Japanese official.
Not gonna drink sushi.
This is the younger of the two George Bushes.
Okay, I got you.
This is
He's
how
the one that's not grabbing girls' butts from his wheelchair.
Yeah, is he doing that?
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't blame him.
And the assistant says, "I told you not to stand next close to him."
I haven't heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
This is George H.W. Bush.
The taller one.
Herbert Walker, whatever. And
Hiram Walker.
Hiram Walker?
Hiram Walker.
I think about
Texas Ranger.
I think about George.
They own the Texas Rangers. You think I'm just making shit up out of nothing? It's all relevant. It all goes circle. I got this shit on lockdown.
You definitely do. When I think about George Bush, the president who was like 2001 to 2009, I think about, new president, 9/11 happens. He's got to deal with all the fallout. Now all of a sudden he's a cowboy. He's going to wrangle in all these terrorists. He's going to kill them. He's going to start the Iraq War. I think by 2005, the American public is a little bit jaded by all the violence in the Middle East, and they don't want this shit. And George Bush becomes kind of a shitty president. They want something new. But this fucker's reelected.
Oh, yeah.
And you know who he beats?
Who?
John Kerry, war vet. John Kerry was in the Vietnam War. He's a Democrat. And he's in the Senate or something, or the Congress or some fucking shit. And he gets beat. I think he's kind of a lame candidate.
A lame duck, some would say.
Affleck. But you know what? George W. Bush gets a second term. We get 8 years of George H.W. Bush. What are your thoughts on that guy?
Shitty. Just shitty old man.
What do you think we should?
Fucking oil tycoon bastards.
Do you think we would have been better
Money
off?
hungry, violent motherfuckers.
Violent even.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe so.
I think he beat his wife.
What was her name?
Barbara.
No, that was
Barbarella.
no, Laura Bush.
Oh.
Right? Barbara.
Laura.
The marriage of the Prince of Wales and Camilla Parker Bowles takes place.
Camilla. What kind of name is that?
How do you is the UK in some sort of caste system to where like the Prince of Wales can only he's got like a small pool of ladies to choose from?
I think so.
Or can he marry anyone he wants?
But at this point, why are they royalty anymore? There's a parliament. They don't make any of the rules. They're just rich people that just are like headgear.
Who's your favorite sports team?
My favorite sports team of all time,
right,
is the Bears.
The Bears. So who's the Bears mascot?
A bear.
A bear. So that's all the royalty is. The UK.
The prince.
The prince.
The pauper. The queen.
The Prince of Wales. Prince of Wales. Prince of Wales. Prince of Wales.
Prince of Wales. Prince of Wales. Prince of Wales. Prince of Wales.
That's all they are, right?
Yeah,
they're a mascot. They're a figurehead. They have no real power. They're the face of the
so
UK.
Rich.
Oh my God! I think they got like $500 million. What would you do if you had $500 million?
I would fucking put the middle finger up to a lot of people's face.
Real? That's
and
all.
And be
that's
fuck
all you do?
Yeah, because they can't touch me then, right?
Oh.
Can't touch me.
$500 million.
Ex-wife can't touch me.
But I don't know what I would do with that. I'd probably the first thing I'd probably do is buy a house.
And buy a queen size bed.
I'd get a queen size bed instead of the full size bed I currently
Get that
own.
upgrade. I got that upgrade, baby.
I think I do a lot of traveling. I think I take my daughter to Disney World for a year straight.
Get the season pass and go, I'm fucking you people out of money on this one.
I think I would buy my way into the highest level of Scientology.
I would definitely try to be a member of like the Bones and Skull and Bones. I definitely want to be a member of that.
What do
I
they
think
do?
with $500 million,
What do they do that's like so enticing to
they
you?
run the world.
Oh.
They run this fucking place. It's not the Palominos or whatever
I always thought that the
Bellagio's,
Palomino.
the Bellagio's, whatever that.
You're working on some other fucking level that I've never heard of this shit. The Palominos? I thought that was like some kind of like pretentious dog. But you're telling me it's an organization that runs the world?
Dude, I'm telling you, I know this shit.
Apparently you do.
I got this shit on lockdown.
I'd want to be a card-carrying member of the Illuminati.
No, that's what I meant to say. Illuminati. Those guys are bitches compared to the Skull and Bones.
So that's what I do with my money.
Remember that movie that had the guy from
Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek?
Yeah, do you remember that movie? Was it a movie or a TV show?
No, it was a movie. I think they made like one or two sequels to that. But he was only in the first one.
Yeah, what was it?
I think Paul Walker was in that.
Bone Thugs and Harmony or something like that. What's the name of it? So to talk about Bone Thugs and Harmony, we sang a Boys to Men song.
I don't know, man. I think that's Bone Thugs. I'm crazy.
Will you open that door, please? Will you roll your window down?
Turn down for what?
Roll down your window. Thank you. It's hotter than shit in here.
This Disneyland resort celebrates its 50th birthday
by having a baby eaten by an alligator.
Good God. Have you ever been?
Oh, and Harambe was a bad guy.
Anyone that
he didn't eat the baby. Not the bubble.
You're gonna listen back to this show and you're gonna be disappointed. Have you ever been to Disneyland?
No, never been.
Disney World?
No, never been.
Do you have a desire to go?
I would like to go to experience it, but that's so many people. That's so much hustle and bustle.
Which one would you go to?
I went with one in California. California
Ow,
knows how to party.
ow, ow.
Ooh ah, era ooh ah, poo poo caca.
That show was built on the back of that song specifically. Disneyland is the one in Anaheim, California, but I believe it is severely inferior to the one in Florida, because that one's smaller. Out there, all the land has been claimed.
Oh, that's true.
And so it's smaller. The one in Florida is much larger.
Right, he bought that swampland for cheap. My niece lives down there, and she's there all the time. So technically, it would be cheaper for me to go to that one because I wouldn't have to stay at a hotel. I can just stay with her.
I guess my other question is, will you take me?
Oh yeah. Right,
you would take
here
me?
Right now, or to Disney World?
Right here, right now, watching the world wake up from history.
Right here, right now.
Watching the world wake up from history.
Nice. Love it.
I love that band. But you know what I love
Boingo
more?
Boingo?
I love... Oingo Boingo is about the best band you're going to get. Captain Philip, rest assured, I close my eyes. I'm back in 2005. Everything we just said leads me back to the year 2005. Is this podcast a joke? Is someone fucking with me?
Y'all better quit fucking with me.
How?
3 criteria, Jason.
There you go.
3 criteria to decide if we're going to watch a show on this podcast. 1, it had to be a one and done pilot. Did not go to series. Whether it aired or not was irrelevant. Number 2, we had to find it on the internet, and number 3, it had to be free. Plain and fucking simple.
All of our listeners are confronted with these 3 pillars of couch pilots. They're like, oh boy, okay, great. But then they turn around and they have the unmitigated gall to say, Great. Those are your pillars. Where can I find this pilot for myself? Well, I say you can find the entire episode of Back to Norm by subscribing to Couch Pilots in Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app of choice. And then after that, simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes. Or go to YouTube
and you know what to do, Tube.
Oh, boy.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
Only had to push the one button. See? You're fine. Get it up. Get it
Boy,
up.
I'm getting it up. From here on out, you're going to do everything in the middle. Summary of the pilot. A sketch comedy show starring Saturday Night Live alum Norm MacDonald. What do you think about that?
That was it? Short, sweet, to the point? You know what? I'll give it a B.
I'm so glad to hear you say it. You know why I'm here? I'm glad to hear you say that.
Why you're here? I don't know why you're here. To fly this fucking plane, bitches.
I scour. I do so much work to find out information about this pilot. I could not find a summary. I wrote that summary.
Oh!
I wrote that summary.
Are you shitting me?
I'm not shitting you. So
You're a good summary writer.
So I'm glad you gave it a B because I know sometimes you're so harsh on these summaries. I didn't want to let you know that I wrote it. I wanted your genuine opinion. You gave it a B.
It was not biased.
Okay, well, I wrote that. So good.
Good. Congratulations.
Interesting facts. Boy, oh boy.
We'll just read them. People know the rule.
People know the rules?
People
I
know
won't
the
even get into the rules then.
If you don't know the rule, then you need to go back and listen to some other Couch Pilots because
Oh, amen.
Amen. It's just the name of a segment. So go ahead and read it.
All right. We won't even get into it. Interesting facts. Release date, May 29th, 2005.
Okay.
So May is the 5th. So you got June 6, 7, July 8, 9. I think it was about May that I was told, I'm a lady and you got me pregnant. I think it was about that time.
Would it be crazy if you found out that this aired on the day that you found out?
And I was like half paying attention to her and the other half of me was watching this
it,
pilot.
going, I love you some Norm MacDonald.
Oh, boy. We went through a box of Kleenex that day. In 2005, MacDonald...
Were you trying to stuff it up there so nothing would come out?
I was trying to dry up the embryo. 2005 rolls around. Norm MacDonald, that is, signed a deal with Comedy Central to create the sketch comedy Back to Norm. Its cold opening parodied the suicide of Bud Dwyer, a Pennsylvania politician who, facing decades of incarceration, committed suicide live on television in 1987. That is real.
Wow, I did not know that.
Real.
That's crazy.
We'll dig into that in a moment. The release of Norm MacDonald's 2011 stand-up DVD, Me Doing Stand-Up, includes the pilot episode of Back to Norm.
Okay.
You know what? You and I thought we saw a pretty good version of Back to Norm. There may be even a crystal clear one on this DVD.
You don't have
special.
that DVD?
I don't have it.
That's surprising.
Why is that?
Well, you like Norm.
I'm glad that you know that. Starred such notables as Rob Schneider, Max Wright, and the Farley Boys. Interesting facts over. Okay, go ahead.
I saw Rob.
You know who Max Wright is? Mm-mm. At the beginning, Norm, for reasons we'll get into in just a moment, is in heaven.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, he was Alf. He was on Alf. He was the dad on Alf.
And his name is Willie. Can you do your Alf impression for me real quick?
Ha! Kill me.
It's pretty good. And that was Willie was the dad of the family he crashed with, and then the Farley Boys being Chris Farley's brothers.
Really?
John and Kevin Farley, I believe.
I never heard of them before.
They've been in movies, including.
Was he was he the doctor in the burn scene?
No, they were the in the terrorist scene.
Oh, they were the two of the standing in the back.
Yes, they were the two. Those were the Farley Boys.
Spoiler alert.
Twitter responses.
Jason got some Twitter responses.
I did not.
In a world where we hate everything except for the things we love, there's the Low Blow Podcast. So join us every week as me, Adam Z.
Me, Dave Rowan.
And Chris and Naomi.
She might be naked.
I'm naked.
Fill your ear holes with unbiased reviews of movies, TV shows, comic books, anything Florida does, and basically the rest of the internet, right here in the FCF network. So please check out all your favorite downloading podcasting apps for us, the Low Blow Podcast. Appropriately inappropriate.
Love it. love the appropriately inappropriateness of Adam Z and Dave Rowan and that girl that's some might be on again.
What happened there? Do you know?
I think they had a lover's tiff.
But it's okay. I mean, it's probably not suitable for air. But
I don't know what happened.
Okay. She was on the show for a while. She wasn't on the show. Adam says she's going to be back. Something happened. I don't know what happened. I'd kind of like to know.
Sure.
I know where the line is personally to not necessarily air his dirty laundry, but I'd still like to know.
We are dirty laundry.
But that was a terrible song, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's awful.
Slow.
Lobo Podcast, a great part of the FCF network. Catch it whenever it happens to come out.
Yeah.
Right here on the FCF network. But now we say, Dave Rowan, Adam Z, take a hike.
Get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here, guys. It's time to talk about the pilot
Let
of
the
Back
big
to
boys
Norm.
play.
It's all right. They'll love that. You know what? This is what I want to say, too. Before we even start this is a Norm MacDonald pilot. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge Norm MacDonald fan.
Huge. You got a huge mega milk boner.
I walk around, and when someone says Norm MacDonald, my penis, the erectile tissue in it goes into motion, and then blood flows into my genitals, creating an erection.
Okay.
He's one of my favorites. I love him. I've seen him live. I was front row, right at the jukebox. I got to talk to him a little bit years ago. He was very friendly to me. Have we ever talked about this on the show before?
I believe you've talked about it, but I'm not. You can go ahead and.
Should I go into, that would be the appropriate time to go into specifics, right?
Definitely.
Okay, so I think it was like my 28th birthday or something, 27th, 28th birthday, and he was at the Jukebox Comedy Club in Peoria, Illinois. And at that time, I'm dating like a 19-year-old girl.
Nice. High five that shit.
Anyway, so I go there, and I say to Norm after the show, I was like, hey, I had a great time. I got a couple of questions for you. He's like, go ahead. I say, you used to do Weekend Update week after week on Saturday Night Live. He says, yes. I said, you always used to say you had some sort of joke set up about a person. Like, you won't guess who this person is. And then he always says, you guessed it, Frank Stallone. And Frank Stallone is the brother of
Sylvester.
That's right.
Sylvester.
And so I said, what was up with that joke that was always so funny? And I don't know if you're going to get this. This truly may be an exclusive. He says to me, well, I was on Saturday Night Live, and we had Sylvester Stallone host SNL once. I was like, oh, yeah? He's like, I remember that. He's like, yeah. And he said, at the time, this is Rocky's brother, Frank Stallone. And he was genuinely making a go of it on the boxing circuit. Frank Stallone was out there boxing, and everyone wanted to kick Rocky's brother's ass.
Sure, he had a target on his back,
without a doubt. So while Frank Stallone's getting his ass pummeled, ass over tea kettle, Sly Stallone, getting ready to host SNL, goes up to Norm MacDonald and he says, I see you doing this joke about my brother week after week. I understand that it's all in good fun and it's funny, but would you please stop doing it? My brother's literally getting his ass kicked participating in these boxing events. And he says, yeah, okay, I'll stop doing it. So I thought that was funny. That was like that's like a real thing.
Oh yeah, that's behind curtain.
And then I say to him, I got one more question for you. Do you have time, good sir? And he says, I'm wearing a bunch of makeup. Of course I have time. And he was wearing makeup. It was odd. Or that he was drunk because he had quite a red face. And I said, Norm MacDonald, I love your stand-up and I love your comedy. Did you happen to write the polar bear sketch on SNL? And he says, yes, I did happen to write that. And for many people probably don't know what this is. This is in the probably early mid-'90s. This is a sketch that involves Norm MacDonald. You've got Adam Sandler, Jay Moore, Chris Farley, and Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows is one of my most favorite SNL guys of all time. This is a sketch where five friends.
Tim Meadows!
Tim Meadows! These five friends, all cast members of SNL, their stage names at the time, or their character names, are their actual names. And they break into a zoo at a polar bear cage. And one after another jumps into the polar bear cage for like stupid reasons. And each of them get mauled to death. And while they're getting mauled to death, buckets of blood are being thrown on the surviving members as each of them go in. And meanwhile, they're having a mundane conversation at the top of the cage, not really paying much mind to the fact that their friends are being torn to shreds. And this kind of absurdist humor is right where my heart is.
It's your ballywick.
So I say, Norm, did you write this sketch? And he says, yes, I did. I say, I love this sketch. And he says, well, thank you very much. I don't know that anyone else has questions for Norm MacDonald quite like this. So this small exchange that we had, this photograph that
They
we
weren't
took
they
together.
weren't generic questions that he hears all the time. They're sincere.
Is Chris Farley like the coolest fucking dude you ever met in your life? You know, it's not like that fucking shit. These are real questions about his writing and his talent. Yeah. So I really had a good time meeting him. It was just maybe 90 seconds. That's cool. But I had a great time.
Did you fuck that 19-year-old when you're done?
And then I fucked her right in the mouth. No, I did not. But I had a great time. And because of that, I really do have a love of Norm MacDonald and everything he's done since. And so going into this pilot, I was like, oh boy, do I have high hopes for this.
You've got high hopes.
Breaking news. This is where the pilot starts. Breaking news. Norm approaches a podium at a press conference.
There's like 7 or 8 microphones, just like any normal high-functioning press high-functioning press conference.
Laboratory.
Yes.
Norm approaches the podium, and he announces his retirement. He says,
I'm tired of failing.
All I've ever done is have mediocre after mediocre attempts at comedy. I know I'm not that great. I'm going to retire. And everyone's like, oh, no. And then he pulls out a manila folder, the same type of manila folder that you love so much.
Folder, yeah.
And from that, he pulls a revolver and he shoots himself. This is based on a real event.
That's crazy when you said that, because when I first saw this, I was like, how would even Norm MacDonald, how would he come up with this?
He didn't come up with it all.
No, he's just like, I'm just going to parody the fact that somebody. So the guy was.
His name is Bud Dwyer, and he was a politician. And I think it must have been some sort of embezzling. And I think it was a press conference to announce his retirement from politics because he was getting ready to. He was facing the music,
right?
And so he's like, I don't want to face the music at all. I'll just blow my brains out. And he did exactly that with cameras on him. So this is an event where someone committed suicide live on TV, and he pulled the gun out. The audience was aghast. And he says, you know what? Everyone, please stand back. I don't want to hurt anybody. I genuinely don't want to hurt anybody. And Norm MacDonald mirrors those same sentiments.
Right.
And it's pretty fucking dark.
Yeah,
like if you know the events of Bud Dwyer's on-air suicide, you will see that this Norm MacDonald sketch is very dark.
I wonder if we can find that online. I don't want to see it.
That's the kind of shit that I don't search out. Like, when ISIS cuts a dude's head off.
Oh yeah, I would never watch that.
I would never watch that fucking shit. That is terrifying. But he announces it, and then he shoots himself, and all of a sudden, he's in an all-white, cloudy heaven scenario.
Sure, and it's he sees his grandma and his uncle being
Max Wright
the
from
guy
Alf.
from Alf.
Yeah, and everything is wonderful up there. And they says you can't stay in heaven.
He's like, I want to go. Let's go fishing, Uncle.
And Norm's like, oh my god, that sounds great. I remember those days when I was a kid. You take me fishing. I'd love to go back and do that again.
And he says, you can't. He goes, what do you mean I can't? This is heaven.
He said, no, you got to go back down to earth and you got to do a comedy show. He's like, I don't want to do a comedy show, which is probably his real thoughts on the scenario.
Oh yeah,
like Norm MacDonald is one of those guys who is so genuinely and honestly intelligent and funny. But he's a crazy guy,
right?
Like he doesn't want to do anything. I think he's very much a hermit and OCD
he just knows.
Kind of guy.
I have this talent.
Yeah,
I have to do this to make money because I can't go work at the 7-Eleven.
I would never be able to hold out an actual job.
Right.
So let me make some sort of use of this talent.
Sure,
but he doesn't want to make the show. And then Uncle Joe gets very aggressive about him going back to Earth. He's like, you listen to me, you little shit. You go back down to Earth and you make him laugh. And he's like, fine, I'll go. And this is one part of the show that I genuinely like. This is the opening of the show. And anytime they go into and out of a commercial, they show childhood videos. They're supposed to look like childhood videos. They're not. They were shot very recently,
right?
As the time of this pilot,
they're like Christmas ones or him riding a bicycle.
It's it's supposed to be him as a
kind
child.
of the Wonder Years, kind of like the video.
What would you do if I said
it would be like that old reel-to-reel film, kind of looking stuff,
like 1950s home videos.
Right.
That's what it's supposed to look like. But it's Norm as a
grown
adult,
up,
riding bicycles. Riding on a horse, like one of those little stick ponies.
Sure.
Opening presents on Christmas Day. I like that. I think that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Something about that is very funny to me and very good.
And then we get to and so Norm introduces the first skit, and it is a cave setting, and he's like, goes into he's explaining to set up the bit about a suicide bomber. It's a suicide bomber and being a martyr and what that means. And like I said, he's an intelligent guy, and so I know he thinks of this stuff, and he does do research to find out. And what makes a suicide bomber. And and is it how do they come up with 72 virgins?
Yeah, there's a cave scene behind him. He's dressed as a terrorist, but this is on the heels of the Chappelle Show.
Mm-hmm.
Chappelle Show, I think it was roughly 2003, 2005. It was a very short window where he had about 2 seasons, and then Dave Chappelle, something happened where he's like, I don't want to do this, and he leaves. So he left a vacuum in Comedy Central, and they're trying to fill it with people like, Norm Macdonald, Carlos Mencia. Who can fill this ethnic sketch comedy style?
You know what? Only good thing about Carlos Mencia.
What's that?
He thought about stuff in his
Mind of Mencia. Very good.
That was a long way to get to
No,
it.
it was very good. But this is one of those shows where they said, who can fill the vacuum?
Sure.
But it's got the same format where you have these little segments of him appearing like on a stage as himself doing stand-up, but he doesn't really tell any jokes. He's just kind of setting up the next bit,
one.
just like Chappelle did. And so is this set of him at a cave in the Middle East somewhere.
Right, and it basically he this is the one where Rob Schneider is in it.
And the only one,
Yeah,
thankfully.
And it's basically just going through, and Norm Macdonald comes in. He's got a dynamite vest with the big, huge clock on it, and all this dynamite, 6 dynamite, and they're going back and forth about, he's going to do this bombing, and Norm Macdonald thinks that he's going to put the bombs and then run away.
He's like, he's doing a terrible Middle East accent. But it's like terrible. And he's like, where should I put this vest so I don't get blown up? And like, no, and I was like, what are you talking about? Won't people see me put these bombs? It's like, no,
You're a martyr.
You're a martyr. Don't you know what a martyr means? He's like, yes, that's someone who does something fantastic.
Sets off bombs and runs away. And they're like, no, not at all. And so Rob Schneider explains to him that with the real definition, and
he accepts it. He's like, "Oh my God, is this really?
He's
really
like,
what it is?"
He's like, "Well, kind of like, well, what's in it for me?" Right? Basically, I mean, he's like, "What?" He's like, "What's in it for me? What's
Because he's ready to take off the vest.
Oh, he's
and
like,
get out of there.
I'm fucking out of here.
He's like, "No, we need you to do this. How about this? How about you do me a favor? You go out there, you blow yourself up." His name is Akbar in this sketch. He says,
I'll take care of your wife and kids.
Yeah, I'll take care of your wife and kids. I'll give you 25 very sexy and attractive ladies to have sex with in the afterlife. How about that?
No, 100.
Oh, no, I don't think about it. I don't think that's the right number at all. And then so they start this negotiation, and it's like there's a montage where there's no words, and you see him like writing down things,
right,
and
in the sand time going. Yeah. So they're going back and forth, and I'll give you the rundown of what they were. It's 25, and then Norm says 100, then Rob says 30, and then Norm says 95, and then Norm says 91, and then they have the time montage, and then he says, okay, 42 girls. 72, I'm sorry. 72 girls.
And he says, all right, it's a deal. And then as Norm was leaving, he says, I would have done it for 50.
It shows you. Another was funny. He was talking about how he doesn't have any wife and kids.
Yeah.
And Norm was like, why buy the cow when you can have sex with as many cows as you want for free?
Little twist on the old saying there. And that's the end of that sketch. And this is another, again, this is an outro. And you see home videos, and this is Norm blowing. This is a full-grown Norm Macdonald in his mid-40s blowing candles out on a cake. So, again, try and take advantage of that old feeling of home videos when he's an old man.
Yeah, in his childhood. The next skit, bit, whatever you want to call it, is the birthday one. This one is fucking hilarious.
You like this?
This one, I actually didn't write very much because I was actually paying so much attention to it. So he comes home, and his wife says, hey, happy birthday. I got you what you've always wanted. And he just names off some random things.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, your present's a threesome.
He's like, oh boy, goody. This is great.
Oh, yeah. And he's excited as everybody would be.
Because this is what every man wants.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no offense.
Not every man gets, though.
No offense to anyone who's married, but you having sex with the same lady for, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, it gets a little bit cumbersome. A threesome introduces a new partner and gets you kind of excited and aroused again. And this is where you think Norm's head is at the time.
Right. And so she's like, she has to explain to him what she means by a threesome. And she's like, another girl. And
Ding dong.
And then she goes, why don't you go open the door? He opens the door, and there's Gwen in this nice, sexy lingerie.
Gwen is giving me a meta world peace milk beignet.
He's like, hey, Gwen, can't talk right now. Me and my wife are going to have a threesome.
We're planning this threesome. Get the hell out
right.
of here.
And slams the door on this hot, sexy
shit.
girl.
Blake, would you ever slam the door on a girl like that?
No, I'd slam the door on my penis over and over
Hell
again.
yeah.
So come to find out, he's like, no, honey, you're misunderstanding it. I want a threesome with another guy. And she's like, oh, okay, so me and another, you and another guy. And he's like, no, two guys. He goes like, one that's really, really good looking but doesn't know he is, and the other one that looks like your brother.
And at this, he comes through a couple of different iterations of this, and she's on, his wife is on board the whole way, and even through the thing where it's like two guys, she's like, okay, she's willing.
She's trying to power through this for her birthday present.
So Norm wants to find, and then he follows her outside. She's like, I want to find a couple of gay guys. He's like, what? What are you talking about? No, I want a couple of straight guys. I'm not a gay guy.
Right.
He's like, I want straight guys for boning.
I think it was a funny bit. I think.
Yeah. So, Norm is. I think Norm is a homophobe, is what it is, and he loves joking about homosexuality.
Right.
Where that's totally not like a PC thing to joke about. Like if you listen to his podcast, that's where that's his ballywick is joking about homosexuality.
Oh.
And it's not like he's down on him or anything. It's just that he's like. It makes him uncomfortable.
Yeah, so he makes a joke about it because he's uncomfortable.
That's exactly right. And now you got another home video outro there. This time Norm is outside riding a bike.
Yeah.
It's very silly. I like it.
You
So
want to go through the next?
Sure. The next sketch is you're in a hospital, and apparently a woman had set fire to her husband, and he's burnt on 98% of his body. And he's in incredible pain. He'll probably never leave the hospital. And this doctor is casually telling this woman that.
Right, and she has mentioned that he used to he beat her and was really mean to her.
He's a shitty husband.
Yeah.
And she kind of, even though she set the fire to him, she feels remorse for it. And so then he takes her to see her husband. His name is Roger. It's Norm. And he's like shriveled, burnt, and he's like still smoking.
Right, yeah. It's still got smoke coming out.
So Norm MacDonald, I would say, is a man that is probably 6'3" to 6'5". He's a tall gentleman. But here he's probably about 4 foot nothing. He's this shriveled little foam piece.
It has all this makeup on for the burn victim. And she comes in to see him, and he just starts chewing her out, but you can barely understand him because he's all burnt up. But he just kept like, you messed with the wrong guy, bitch.
Yeah, he kept saying, like, you fucked with the wrong guy over and over again.
But he can't do anything. He can't even move. He's so burned.
He literally is still smoking.
Yeah, he cannot do anything, but yet he's still fucking,
He's threatening her over and over from his bed as she looks on. And he is horrible to her even in his current state. He's like, your ass is grass, whore. And I'm like, what can he do? He's a nothing.
Right.
And honestly, that is pretty much the sketch. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, that was the thing is the conversation with the wife and the doctor was really lengthy. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like there was a lot of...
There's a bunch of setup just for him to be laying in a bed.
And it was not... I couldn't... It takes me longer to blow a load.
And then, it's her basically getting shit on by him verbally until she's like, you know what, Roger? I'm leaving. That's it. And that's it. And then it kind of pans away, and that's it. And then you get another outro of Norm opening presents on Christmas Day. And again, these outros and intros, to me, are very delightful. They next is Norm doing some stand-up. He's out there talking about how to end the show. And he mentions how 60 Minutes always ends with Andy Rooney.
Yeah, it said that was his favorite ending to a show was having Andy Rooney. I can't do an Andy Rooney.
Nor could I.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I don't know if you're...
I thought that's what you were gesturing to me for.
No, I'm gesturing to you like if you want to go ahead and talk about this segment of the program.
It's basically... So he couldn't get Andy Rooney to do it. And so Norm dresses up as Andy Rooney and talks about drugs, heroin, and coffee, and roofies and peyote.
Yeah.
And about how which, very ironic that he has this thing, he's talking about this, and then we're in the state of we are in with sexual harassment in movies, because he talks about one of the girls on 60 Minutes that he roofied her, took her up and took some peyote and had a
he
good
said
time.
he roofied Leslie Stahl,
Yeah.
which is a real person from
Right.
60 Minutes.
Right. And that's basically it. It was, to me, it was anticlimactic.
It was Andy Rooney talking about his drug experiences, which
Right. Went from
it's
it started with talking about drugs, then talking about black heroin, and then he relates to his own addiction to coffee, which is a drug, and that's how it kind of got. And all of a sudden he's taking peyote. So.
goes back to the stage where Norm is kind of segueing between the segments. It ends there, and then it's kind of a for the time a nice Comedy Central credit scene where you go behind the scenes and you see Norm in his Andy Rooney prosthetic makeup, smoking, walking around the backstage.
Right.
And that's it. And that's the end. I love Norm MacDonald, but I'll be goddamned if there isn't some turbulence.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
Back to Norm. Norm MacDonald's had a few shots. He had the Norm Show. He had A Minute with Stan Hooper. He had the Sports Show with Norm MacDonald. A handful of opportunities to make things work. His style of comedy, I don't know.
Wouldn't you say a good way to describe his comedy is you either love Norm Macdonald or you can't stand him?
Maybe so.
Yeah, it's hard to find a middle ground.
I think today, 2017, media is so fragmented, there is a place for Norm Macdonald. Back in 2005, maybe there weren't as many channels or things weren't as niche as they are today to where he had to appeal to a broad audience, which maybe that is not the strength of Norm Macdonald.
Right.
So I ask you is why didn't Back to Norm work?
Oy vey. Like we just talked about, I mean, I don't think it was a comfortable situation. I think, when he was on Saturday Night Live, he was in skits. He wrote skits and stuff, and he was on Weekend Update, and which was Weekend Update for him was perfect.
I stand by. Like, I love a lot of the people who have done it, like including the most recent, like Seth Meyers. But to me, Norm Macdonald was the best. He was the best at it. Yeah,
but I don't even think he was comfortable. Like watching it, I mean, I know he's a kind of self-deprecating, uncomfortable guy in the acting in the first place, but I think it seemed like he felt uncomfortable with this whole show. That maybe this wasn't what he wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or maybe when he agreed to do it, and then once he got involved in it, and then started getting notes back, and they started changing everything, he was just like, "Fuck this."
Well, in his current state, Norm Macdonald occasionally will do Norm Macdonald Live, which is a podcast, and he does it very infrequently. There'll be gaps of a year or two between episodes. It's very bizarre, but he seems very comfortable behind a desk talking to people. And that was kind of what he did at Weekend Update. He sat behind a desk and he cracked jokes. I think that is where he is comfortable. It's a kind of a stand-up scenario. This does not showcase that whatsoever.
Yeah, I wrote, Norm is a great stand-up comic, but it wasn't represented with this pilot, I think.
His comedy, even because Saturday Night Live will go in waves. They'll say, hey, let's get a bunch of stand-up comics in here. And they did that with like Adam Sandler was a stand-up comic, or Dennis Miller. And then they'll say, "Oh, let's get some sketch comedy folks in here." Norm Macdonald was of the stand-up ilk,
right,
and maybe not have been as well suited for sketch comedy, which is what this pilot was. So maybe it wasn't a great fit. Maybe someone tried to pigeonhole him just because they saw him on SNL. They said this is not the best fit for him, though.
Right. That's what I got.
That's what I got. You could say, where would you like to go if this survived? Honestly, I don't know if I want to see this survive.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
IMDb. What? And I know you told me once before, but what does IMDb stand for?
Immense menstrual dick pain.
Yeah, and what is the score for immense dick pain?
For this show?
Back to Norm.
3.5.
7.3.
Gosh. Bless America.
These are Norm MacDonald apologists. It's hard for myself not to be in that category, but I can see the forest for the trees, okay?
But I appreciate you being open-minded and not having a bias.
Thank you very much. This is from 98 different ratings, 7.3 on IMDb. Viewer reviews. Norm, as usual, lazy. 4 out of 10 scars. This is from author Pluto 8, someone maybe after my own heart. Norm MacDonald is one of those rare performers who has a great natural comic gift. He can just stand there with that silly look on his face and crack me up. His Burt Reynolds impression is hysterical, as are several of his other celebrity characterizations, but it's a puzzler as to why he can't do sustained comic work. He was often hilarious on Saturday Night Live and skit work, but his sitcom Norm was flaccid and suffered from the presence of tedious and boring side players. His new half-hour comedy sitcom Norm, or a central presentation rather, was similarly lazy and loose. It feels as if it might have been written over a weekend and never rehearsed before shooting. Only flickering bright spots were Andy Rooney bit and the skit where the guy wanted a threesome for his birthday. But even they were weirdly paced and ended up being sort of one-trick ponies. Norm, we love you. Get some discipline and get to work.
Ooh.
P.S. The fisherman in heaven in the opening scene is Max Wright, the befuddled character from Alf and also The Norm Show.
Ha! I kill me.
That's a pretty damn good review, I think, of the show.
Yeah.
Some good moments. From Comedy Fan from the United States, I'm more of a Bruce McCulloch fan than I am of Norm's. Bruce McCulloch was one of the
Loved
members.
him at Home Alone.
I wouldn't go any further then. Than I am of Norm. So I watched the show because I found out he directed it. A lot of it was your typical sketch fare with a few better moments. Rob Schneider had a funny cameo and an unfunny sketch. The threesome sketch was sort of predictable, but overall was the best part of the show. Janet Varney was hilarious as Norm's wife trying to make
Little
peace.
Janet Varney?
That's right. With Norm's wishes. I have some of these references you talk about, I have no idea what the fuck you're saying.
Little Janet Varney is with her nickname, or her nickname is Little Janet Varney. She's on Spontaneous Nation all the time. Paul F. Thompson calls her Little Janet Varney.
Oh, really? So the same Janet Varney. You recognize her?
I believe it's the same one.
I'm sure it probably is. Bruce is doing a new movie coming out. I can't wait to see. He wrote and directed it. I hope that Norm will either improve his sketch stuff or stick to stand-up where he is his funniest.
Okay.
Average 5 out of 10 scars is the last one. It's from General G from the United States. This show just passed for me. It could have been better than it was, but it wasn't. Norm MacDonald could have been a funny guy, but he just doesn't try hard enough. I think he would make a great stand-up comedian and had done good work on his special, but I have never seen him do funny stand-up. I don't know much about Janet Varney. She really wasn't funny in this show. I see Rob Schneider a lot like Adam Sandler. They both are bad at sketch comedy and funny in some movies, even though I think Adam Sandler is a sellout these days. Rob was average, just like Norm's performances. I think it would have been a lot funnier if Chris Farley were in it. But of course, he's no longer alive.
Yeah, there's a little bit of problem with that.
Yeah, a little problem. Maybe even replace Janet.
I think Hank Williams Sr. would have been great in the CMA Awards, but he's fucking dead.
Very good.
Thank you.
Maybe even replace Janet with Janine Garofalo, even though she wouldn't fit the profile as the character. It still would have been very funny. Would they replace this person with this, even though they wouldn't fit? What the fuck are you talking about, General?
You're just
G?
talking to talk, General.
Boy, that's a downer of a way to go. Let's what do we do? Land this thing, right?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local time is 11:11 and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
Before we go any further, can I just congratulate us on a tweet like that we got
Please.
today? Famous comedian Judy Gold liked our tweet.
I saw that. And what do you think that's about?
I don't know. Maybe she's scouting us. Maybe come to New York and become famous.
Which tweet was that she liked? Because I saw that too, but I didn't see which tweet.
It was the release of today's episode.
B-Men? Mm-hmm. I wonder what affiliation she has with that show.
Maybe she's dating Pauly Shore.
I bet she's friends with Mindy Sterling.
I don't know if I tagged her in that though.
Oh boy.
But thanks, Judy Gold.
Yeah, thank you very much. Landing the plane. This is the end of the show, right?
Yeah.
This is where we say,
This is where we've bantered. We've talked about inappropriate behavior. We told you some interesting facts. We took you back to 2005 in your mind.
Who else would do that?
Nobody. There's not one person in this world that would do that.
Oh, boy. We say, judge this pilot. This pilot comes to us hat in hand and says, please, no one else has judged me before you in this podcast format. Won't you please judge me? And we'll do it.
Right.
We'll do it.
We'll do it.
Not reluctantly. This is our passion.
And also, after we give you our ratings, we would love to hear your guys' ratings. So definitely contact us. And you know the scale. The scale is 1 to 7, 1 being the worst, 7 being the best. 1 is a Roy Biggins. He's a fat, slobby asshole. Number 1, good old sexy man himself, Brian Hackett. All right. In between there's Scarpacci. All right. There's Helen Chappell. There's Fayetten. There's Bud Bronson.
They're all in there. Bud Bronson.
Yeah. You didn't know Bud Bronson? He's Charles Bronson's brother.
Hey, don't mess with me.
So we're going to give you guys our ratings. We're going to break it down here. All the stuff we've talked about, interesting facts. We broke down the pilot. Now it's time to hear what we thought.
It's time. Captain Philip, rest assured.
Jason,
Yeah.
you're a big Norm Macdonald fan.
I'm a huge Norm Macdonald fan.
It was a pleasure watching this because I knew how much you like him.
Yeah.
I'd like to have your rating first.
Okay. Yes, I do love Norm Macdonald. He was hosting. I think he was when I first got introduced to SNL. It was Kevin Nealon doing Weekend Update, and I thought Kevin Nealon was very good. And I saw Norm Macdonald. I was like, this is really good. He's funny. And then I kind of followed some of his ongoings throughout the year. His movie Dirty Work. I got to meet him in person. I think really meeting him was like galvanized for. And then I followed him ever since. I really love Norm Macdonald. So I went into this thinking, great, a Norm Macdonald pilot. How many of those are there really out there? He had a couple shows that maybe lasted a handful of shows. We don't do television programs that lasted more than one episode. This had one.
Right.
This fits the criteria. This is fantastic. I don't like this. This is not very good. This is a 3. I like Norm Macdonald. I think he's very funny. This is not how you utilize Norm Macdonald.
Right.
These sketches are not great. The threesome probably was the best one among them.
Because it was Norm Macdonald responses. Like he was playing him.
He's playing himself,
Right.
and that's what you want to see.
Right.
And this is where he shines, is being himself as a stand-up, not in a series of sketches. I would be the guy who you'd think, oh, he's going to give it a perfect 7 because he loves Norm. No, I put myself back in that time frame.
This is not a mockery. You don't make a mockery of this. This
I
is a
take this
job.
serious, yeah.
This is a job for you.
I want to rate this appropriately. I want to score him high. I cannot. Blake, I look at you and I say, Back to Norm is a 3. How do you rate this show?
It's going to be back-to-back weeks. I gave it a 3 as well. I can watch Norm stand up. I can watch him on SNL as the guy behind the desk. Like you said, the threesome skit was the only skit that I liked. It really was. It just kind of went downhill. Like the Burn one was really dumb. It had no payoff. The Andy Rooney one, I just didn't get it. Maybe it's because I'm not old enough to make fun of Andy Rooney, but I'm giving it a 3 as well.
And with that, those sullen scores of a bygone,
Sullen Sullenberger scores.
we close the book on Back to Norm, and unfortunately, we'll never mention it again.
Ever.
But join us next time, won't you please, when we watch the pilot episode of Baby on Board.
Oh.
Here's a little something to wet your whistle. A successful career couple in their 40s adjusts to the pressures of a new baby. You can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots and Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or download the app for Daily Motion and check out all of the commotion.
Baby on Board. Huh.
Baby on Board.
Is this based off of a movie? Was there a Baby on Board movie?
I don't know, probably.
This is where that sign came from that everybody put in their car?
Yes.
Those little triangular yellow signs?
Usually if I see a car and the car...
I'll run right into
the car
it.
does something I don't like, I'm really interested in running right into it. But if they have that sign, Baby on Board, I usually pump the brakes.
Yeah, whoa, definitely. Hey, folks, check us out on all at couchpilotspodcast.com. All our episodes are there. You can go to our Twitter from there. You can go to our Facebook from there. You can email us from there. The dial-in number is on there as well.
910 Pilots 1. You can call us at 910-745-6871.
Twitter is at couchpilotspod. On Instagram.
Instagram, please.
It's couch_pilots_podcast. Facebook, Couch Pilots Podcast. Check it out. Let us know what you think of the show. Love fan feedback. Get yourself some frequent flyer points.
That feels good, doesn't it?
It was good.
Feels good.
It was good. I think we entertained one another.
There's so many pilots I have on the back burner ready to go that we're going to watch. And it's one like this where it's like, oh, I was so excited to watch.
Right.
But, a couple of weeks ago we watched B-Men. Do you remember that show?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, B-Men, great, whatever. It fits the criteria, we'll watch it. And I turned out to really like it. I know you didn't necessarily care for it, but I really liked that one. And a one that I think I would like Back to Norm, I don't care for.
Yeah.
So you never know week after week what you're going to get.
That's why you have to subscribe to this podcast from week to week. We might love a show. We might hate a show. You might love a show. You might hate a show.
I would suggest everyone check out the pilots for themselves and tell us what you think. Twitter us, Facebook us, whatever.
Give us your score. Give us your score.
Seriously, give us a score. Some guy did it a couple of weeks ago. Who was that guy's name?
Thomas Kingston.
Thomas Kingston. Yeah, he gave us a score. That was awesome. So, anything else you'd like to say before we go today?
Nah.
No? Okay.
I love everybody.
Yeah.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. Tell a phone, right?
Ring, ring.
And with that, this pilot may have been rough, but it is always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone, and we will see you next time.
Guten Morgen.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.
This has been a Fakakta Comedy Funhouse production, produced by Jason Tosher, executive produced by Blake Clayton. For more information and content, go to fcfnetwork.com.